What is up, Rams? We're coming at you live from CTV with another episode of Local Beats. I'm Katie Nelson.
And I'm Naomi Homer. Since this is our last show of the semester, we knew we had to end it right by giving you a packed show tonight.
That's right, Naomi. We got two stellar Fort Collins bands to show you tonight, as well as another music video breakdown from yours truly.
And of course, we hit the CSU Plaza to find out what students listen to as their guilty pleasure. And we gave you a few new music recommendations of our own.
Stick around to find out right here on Local Beats.
Last week, Katie and I were invited to one of the grooviest at-home studios I think I've ever been to.
Naomi, I'd have to say the same thing. Not only was the Sunset Studio groovy, but it was probably the first studio I've ever been to where the chickens were outside the front door and columns of books were stacked to the ceiling. Yet it perfectly represents the band that calls it home. Offering an experimental sound and welcoming arms to the music community here in Fort Collins, the Trytonez provide a fresh perspective on house music and how it has come to define the lives that they live.
One of the definitions that I rather find exciting to me is the try part of the Trytonez, which is you can try anything you want. It's like always like a dream of mine. It's like, man, I just want to do this thing that everything else stems from. So the idea of the Trytonez really, we were kind of coming up with, of like, okay, how do we really just like, how do we start this almost co-op of a studio, of a band?
Our bass player, Cerise Sprague, the three of us were rehearsing here, and we kind of did this thing where at the end of our rehearsals we would kind of just wander off into improvisational material.
And it was something like I've never heard before, so I was really blown away by his playing and just like wanting to drum more.
Anthony as a drummer is so great because he's also a front guy. I mean, Jeremy was a touring and session musician in Nashville, so he's one of these people that can play blues, he can play country, he can play classical. I'm primarily a bass player, but I've been trying to play more guitar and songwrite. So the wonderful thing about this band is that we all think about it in different positions. And so we're able to bring that to the table and not be quite so pigeonholed into something that we've always done.
We're a backup band for everything.
Yeah, for everyone and for
anyone. The backup band
Do you need a backup band?
The backup band for your walks, the backup band for the car accidents, the backup band for every feeling, everything. Really, I think is kind of how well do you serve the song? It's funny, I need to cut more. My role at the Sunset House in these last few years, I think, has come to basically be like a piece of the community again, like it used to be. This whole space has a lot of history, but at one point it was a library for books behind bars, I believe is what it's called. So inmates would write to this address, and they would ship them out books. It couldn't happen without this place. It's home base, really. I'm very grateful and humbled that I'm able to have in the last year and a half build it up to what it is, basically accumulation until this winter.
I'm someone who, I feel almost like I've lived a few different lives. I was a homeless backpacker for a while. I have a couple of chronic illnesses, and I am not able to sort of keep up with the fast pace of what's expected in the music business. And some people, myself included, have thought at times, well, hey, maybe I should just give it up. But in this case, having people like Cerise, people like Anthony, that are willing to work with me, and it's kind of cool that we have kind of like come together as this group of folks that really don't want anything to get in the way of us playing music.
Yeah, we've already gotten past the 27 club. We're all in the oh, I guess we'll be 70 up there, still playing.
Hopefully.
So originally when I first got to interview this band, it was at the Forge, which is a pub down in Old Town.
Yeah.
And it was such a unique and very personal experience because it was a pub. It wasn't a big, venue or anything. And I actually got to know them on a really personal level. And then going into their studio, I feel like I got a whole sense of what this band is. What did you think of when you got to the studio?
No, I loved it. I really liked going to see their space where they practiced, and they had the kettle on, and they were giving us tea, and they were just
right.
So sweet to us, and they were just really interesting people, and to hear their story was just amazing.
Yeah, no, their ability to answer so in-depthly to just hearing about all the things they've gone through, how they met, how they came to be, and kind of just their whole idea of what their band is, of just doing what they want and supporting other artists as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't met another band in Fort Collins like that, because a lot of bands here are very compact in their own group.
They're very driven towards they're gonna make music, and these guys just want to have fun.
Right.
It seems that's just their goal is to have fun and make music and bring joy.
Right, and then but the fact is music is their whole life, but they're able to still enjoy life without making it such a personal agenda. It just gives a really good breath of fresh air on music. I don't know. It was lovely to talk to them.
It was really nice. And speaking of a breath of fresh air, I'm sure everyone has at least one song they rocked out to behind closed doors. At least I know I do. So last week, Katie and I went to the Plaza to find out what music CSU Rams listen to in their spare time, specifically when they're free of any judgment.
With songs ranging from country to throwbacks to even Christmas music, these students' guilty pleasure songs did not disappoint, and neither did their facial expressions.
What's groovin', Rams? My name is Katie Nelson.
And I'm Naomi Homer.
And this week on Beats on the Street, we want to know,
what is your guilty pleasure song?
My guilty pleasure song is Chicken Fried, the country song for sure.
To a little bit of chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans.
Promiscuous by Nelly Furtado.
Promiscuous girl, you teasing me. You know what I want, and I got what you need.
Mariah Carey, her Christmas banger. I listened to that one in July. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I'm sad, I'm all I want for Christmas is you, baby.
I think mine would be probably Goodie Bag. Goodie Bag by Still Woozy.
I think my favorite has probably got to be something around maybe 2112 from Rush. Classic rock. I kind of grew up on it, nostalgia. Dad was a huge rock and roller.
Guilty pleasure song, Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo.
Good for you, I guess you're getting everything you want. You bought a new car and your career's really taking off.
It's a fantastic song, and it lets you rock out.
Guilty pleasure song, Unwritten. Oh, because I love screaming it in the car, at the top of my lungs. It just makes me really happy.
I'd say Firecracker by Josh Turner, I think. That one.
There's a pack of black cats in a red paper wrapper. My little darling is a firecracker.
It would be Mr. Blue Sky.
The sky us why you had to hide away for so long.
The Spins, Mac Miller.
Yeah. Wanna get a mansion, a jacuzzi, a theater to watch my movie.
It's a good song, but it's also not a good song at the same time.
I like Zanny by Billie Eilish.
I don't need a Zanny to feel better.
Cardi B at the gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you have like a specific song?
Oh, I can't remember. What's the one where she's like, I know that's right. Do you know?
Oh, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, I know that's right. Like, it sounds like circus music. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I think it's Up.
That's right. Big bag bustin' out the belly band. Take a man, Balenciaga brought it back and all.
Yeah, that's that one. It's my squat song.
Behind These Hazel Eyes by Kelly Clarkson. I just grew up with it as a kid. I know I'm like an older student, but just screaming that, like driving around town, such good memories.
It's She Wolf by Shakira. Oh, I started listening to it when I was like 8, and I would like really like that song, and I just still listen to it to this day.
Listening to those students' reactions was hilarious, especially when I like misasked the question and forgot to add song to the end, and I just asked, "What's your guilty pleasure?" And they were like,
"That's a little much for a Tuesday."
yeah. Although I was pretty impressed with like the ability for people to like just have immediate answers for a lot of those. Like they already knew. It's like they were listening to them on their way up.
Yeah, I would say I think mine's definitely country music. It definitely brings me back to my roots when I used to live in Tennessee.
Nice.
Do you have a
specific song?
Yeah, no, it's called When It Rains, It Pours, and it is, I like know every single word of it. It's like a little story. It's like one of my favorite songs from like country genre.
Oh, nice. I do appreciate country on certain occasions.
Yeah.
I'd have to say mine is Leave It All to Me, the iCarly theme song.
Yes.
I don't mean to be admitting this on TV, but I do love that song.
You know, it is a great song, and I've definitely jammed out to it as a kid.
It is catchy. It's very catchy.
Yeah. And speaking of good music, we've got more to show you coming up right after the break, including another music video breakdown with Katie Nelson.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back, folks. I hope you got some popcorn and blankets with you tonight, because this music video is a bit of a head spinner. With symbolism and metaphors littered throughout this video like confetti, the topics addressed in this record have imprinted on listeners around the nation and earned the artist not 1, but 2 Grammys back in 2019. Let's take a look. What's groovin', Rams? Welcome back to the 3rd music video breakdown of the year. Today, I want to take a dive back to 2019, going to the Grammy Award winner for the Best Music Video of the Year. And unless you're a trivia guru, I won't make you guess any longer. Today, we'll be breaking down the music video by Childish Gambino, This Is America.
We just wanna party just go.
When this song was first released on May 5th of 2018, the internet freaked out. Not only was the song a hit, but the music video that accompanied it was loaded with haunting symbolism, shown through props, choreography, wardrobe choices, and scenes that all spoke to an underlying theme of Black oppression and gun violence in America. Now, there is loads to unpack here, so let's just jump right in. The entire video is shot in an eerie and empty warehouse, and the first scene starts with an actor walking up to a chair with an acoustic guitar. People on Twitter had originally confused this actor with the father of Trayvon Martin. And for those of you who don't know, Trayvon Martin was an unarmed Black teenager who was shot and killed in 2012. The actor is actually the musician Calvin II, but the two look awfully alike, and it does beg the question of whether or not this was intentional. In the background, you can see Childish Gambino. His outfit consists of beige trousers, which Twitter users actually found were linked to what old Confederate soldier uniforms used to look like decades ago. Not only do the pants hold symbolic meaning, but also the two gold chains around his neck, as they represent an obsession with consumerism. The video then quickly shifts to a more sinister tone, as Gambino walks over to the man in the chair. However, he no longer has his acoustic guitar and all of a sudden has a bag around his head.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now.
Now, even in this 10-second time frame, there is a few things I want to unpack here. After the gun is shot, he hands it off to someone who carefully takes it away in a red cloth. Note that the body then is disrespectfully dragged away. The symbolism here is said to represent Red America's willingness to protect gun rights over people, despite the country's increasingly high rate of gun violence. Secondly, something that struck me as a little odd was Gambino's stance preceding the shot. After doing a little more research, I found that Justin Simien, the creator of Dear White People, posted on Twitter that this explains as a portrayal of the racist black caricatures that were really common during the Jim Crow era.
This is America. Don't catch you slipping now.
The video continues through Gambino dancing at the camera with 5 or 6 people dancing behind him, specifically black students dressed in school uniforms. It's a confusing scene at first, with what seems like chaos ensuing in the background. However, it starts to make sense when you begin to connect the dots on what his lyrics are saying. The song's first bridge even starts off with an indicator. The girl in this case is America, and the frame is the perspective that sees all the injustices that are still happening. When Gambino sings Dance and Shake the Frame, he's singing about how the entertainment media and the dance cultures that has been applauded in black communities for so long actually creates an illusion and a distraction from the issues that black communities are still facing and still struggling with every single day. This next scene is a disturbing one, as it follows Gambino into a room with an all-black church choir. However, once Gambino stops dancing, his face shifts from a big smile into a sad one, and in the blink of an eye, is handed an automatic rifle and fires it at the choir. It's almost impossible not to draw parallels to the Charleston Massacre of 2015, which was a mass shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, in which a white gunman came into a church and killed 9 black churchgoers. The massacre has been heavily considered to be racially motivated, and although hard to comprehend how quickly this scene plays out in the video, it does speak loudly to the overall messages of this music video.
This is America.
And note the gun handoff wrapped in red cloth again. As the video continues, while Gambino and his crew are performing a popularized dances in the foreground, a hooded figure on a white horse gallops across the screen in the background. First time I watched this, I admittedly had no idea this even happened, but if you haven't figured it out by now, this is a video you simply cannot just watch once. As pointed out by social media guru Karen Civil, this is symbolized from a passage from the Bible's book of Revelation, which states, "And I looked, and behold a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed him," symbolizing the beginning of an apocalypse.
Whoa, they're gonna find you like blah.
Ending this scene, Gambino brings out his hands to hold out a pretend gun, and everyone around him runs away. This then creates a very long moment of silence, and at first I didn't think this was anything, but after doing some digging, this was a very intentional moment of silence, 17 seconds long, to represent and pay respects to the 17 lost victims of the Parkland shooting, a shooting that happened not only 3 months before this video was produced. He then lights a joint and moves on.
America. I just checked my phone.
As the video draws to an end, we see Gambino walking atop an old car amidst a sea of other old cars with their hazard lights flashing and their driver's side front doors open.
Black man, get down.
Not only does the scene have economic meaning, but it also sets a stage of a tragic tableau that displays the deadly encounters that black drivers have with police during traffic stops, furthering the theme of police brutality and systemic racism. Also, SZA makes an appearance to the right of the frame during this scene. With her green outfit and her crown-like hairstyle, she's meant to represent the Statue of Liberty. This was later confirmed in an Instagram post by SZA with the simple caption, "Liberty." In the final scene, we see Gambino running for his life to escape the darkness of the warehouse as well as the mass of people chasing after him. The scene is heavily left up to interpretation, but
A majority of people have considered this to be a symbol of the marginalization and helplessness that people of color face every day. Gambino's message in This Is America is one of the deepest we have really ever seen in a music video, and is exactly why this video went so viral. He shines a mirror in front of all of us and calls out America's obsession with superficial entertainment and consumer-based priorities that are creating a popular culture that are surrounded by things like parties, money, and social media. Gambino is demonstrating in this video how all of this is a distraction and shines a light on the very real issues that are still destroying lives today, especially gun violence and racism. The song has been heard all around the world, and Gambino has been hailed a genius for it. His abstract commentary on America's society has sparked international conversations. What won him this Grammy was not just its ability to entertain, but to provide a perspective of history that's never had this big of a platform ever before. Gambino refuses to confirm or deny any of the explanations regarding the song or the video, as leaving it up to interpretation of the viewers is what will leave this video in the mind of all of us for decades to come. Thank you so much for watching, Rams. This is MVB on Local Beats. My name is Katie Nelson. Back to you all in the studio.
Even though I spent more than enough time researching the hidden meanings in this video, there are still hundreds of different interpretations out there that could be equally just as plausible. And if you're curious, the comments on YouTube are a great place to start. And with that, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere yet, because when we come back, we'll take a look at the behind-the-scenes look at a boy band who is creating a name for themselves right here in Colorado.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Hear me out, Rams. Although we like to keep it local here on Local Beats, the Denver-based band Radio Fluke reached out to us and we had to check them out. Recently, the band has been rooting themselves right here in Fort Collins and college campuses such as our own. With the help of their lead guitarist, Caleb Rokenbach, who recently became a CSU Ram himself, Radio Fluke has been popping up all over town.
I met with some different student media friends down at our campus radio station, KCSU, to get an exclusive interview with the band.
90.5 KCSU FM Fort Collins, and we are here with the band based right out of Denver, Radio Fluke. Welcome in, guys.
I'm Caleb. I play lead guitar.
And my name's Kingston Lindner, and I'm the frontman.
I'm Michael. I play the bass guitar.
My name is Blake, and I am the drummer.
The band Radio Fluke started just like many other local musicians have, but they got a bit of a surprise when it came to the release of one of their first cover songs. In 2019, their cover song Medicine went viral, with over 2 million streams on Spotify and trending on Twitter.
I'd never heard the song before. It wasn't recorded or put anywhere. And so that ended up being how that got so much attention, is that there wasn't a recording of it. Harry Styles didn't record and release a version of that song. He only plays it live.
We recorded it, put it out, nothing happened for 4 months, and then I think had to be a fan page or something. Someone posted about it where a bunch of people, and overnight people were just streaming it, and we've been fortunate enough to, it keeps going, and it's allowed us to keep recording and doing what we love, so.
Radio Fluke's music covers genres from classic and heavy rock to alternative pop.
I mean, I always say guitar-based music when I talk about us.
And they have just recently started creating their own original music.
Original music is probably the full gig now. Started out as the cover band again, like Blake and I putting up YouTube videos.
And playing at college campuses across northern Colorado.
We played at the homecoming football tailgate recently, and people were just walking by and stopping by and listening. I mean, it was a really cool experience, and it's just like, just to get that reaction from people up here has been phenomenal. It's kind of crazy to see.
Radio Fluke is also planning on building a studio down in Denver, where they're based out of, and playing as many live shows as possible.
If you're having fun, then we're having fun, kind of thing. And that's kind of what the world needs, in my opinion. And, you know, they showed how disposable live music can be to, like, a population of, you could just take it away.
Yeah.
So we're scared that might happen again. We're trying to play as much as we can.
meeting up with Radio Fluke was such a fun time. It was really nice to actually, I mean, we see a lot of bands here, but not a lot of them are like our own age.
Mhm.
So it was really fun to like just be able to sit down with somebody like your peer and be like, this is awesome. Like you do such a good job at like covering music and making music. Like,
right? Yeah, it was interesting because when they sat down, I was like, that guy looks really familiar. And it turns out I saw them like just a week earlier at a Halloween like party at his frat, and he was like performing this amazing guitar solo, and I always was thinking about like, who is that? And now we got to interview him.
Lo and behold.
Especially with KCSU, which was such an awesome experience. Like,
oh my gosh,
in the
yeah.
DJ studio, getting to like just sit down with like just the band and in a nice space just to talk about like their journey is crazy.
Yeah, it was such a great time. And to end tonight's show, we want to leave y'all with a little bit of new music to listen to, whether that's on your way home from classes or kicking off your weekend. Here are some of our favorite new releases that have come out this month.
For my first pick, I had to go with one of my favorite artists, Posty Maloney. He was recently featured on a track with Young Thug called Livin' It Up. Let's take a listen.
Worried about 12, no, they ain't showing up. Rocky came with the shots, Stuck came with the blunts. Saying one's too many, 100 isn't enough. Alright, yeah. Now you see we going dumb, dumb, dumb. Now you see we going dumb, dumb, dumb.
I just love that song.
That was really, where did you find that one? Or like how?
I like to stalk Post Malone anytime he has a new release because his voice just...
Yeah.
It's just so good. And all of his songs that he produces are just amazing, even if he's just featured on it.
Pretty much
Just
anything.
Yeah, just the chill beat and the like Young Thug. Also, A$AP Rocky was featured in that too.
Oh, wow.
It's just a banger all around.
That's pretty cool. One of my first picks was a song called Champagne by Big Gigantic. When I heard it, I felt like a song that I would listen to at the gym, but that's if I actually went to one.
Okay, yep, I could see going to the gym in that.
It's like a pump-up song, you know?
Yeah, honestly. All right, for my second pick, I'm going with the song Overload. It's under the artist Yog Money, but I'm personally a fan because of my guy Felly. The bouncy and vibey beat hits so smooth, especially with a good pair of headphones. And it's just such a good song to end the night on.
Been on my mind for a while now. Somewhere along the line, I think it's time though. Yeah, I let go and lose control. Yeah.
That was a really good song.
It's nice. It's nice.
My second pick is by an artist I had never actually heard of before named Keto. And honestly, I just loved the overall vibe of the song, and her lyrics were just mesmerizing.
She's got a great voice.
I know,
okay,
right?
Okay. For my last recommendation, I'm going to go with one of my all-time faves, Remy Wolf, and her song, Sexy Villain.
The hero on the West Coast, like De Niro. Super emo, aqua girl with the rising Leo.
That is always a great song to listen to.
So good.
It's so catchy. For my last recommendation, I chose a release by Ty Verdes, who I actually found through a student who was featured on Beats on the Street. Let's check it out.
Let's go to hell together. We can go whenever. Hold me down 'cause we're going fast.
I mean, I do love that song. I think we both wanted to do that song.
Yeah, we had both chosen that at the same time because it's just such a good song.
It really is. It really is.
Well, it looks like that is all the time we have for today, guys. But don't forget to check out our Spotify playlist for this episode, linked in the description on our YouTube channel. Tonight is also bittersweet because this will be Katie's final show for Local Beats.
Unfortunately so. Local Beats has connected me to so many wonderful people that I would have never met without this show. And being able to document the beautiful music community we have here in Fort Collins has been one of the most rewarding experiences I've had in college. Thank you to everyone that has been a part of the show, and thank you, Naomi, for being a stellar host and producer. Thanks you all for tuning in. I'm Katie Nelson.
And I'm Naomi Hilmer. Stay safe and have a good night, Rams.